All right, welcome back to the channel. So, distractions. Bob Arum announces that he believes that the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 3 is going to take place in December in Los Angeles. Wow, what great timing for an announcement. In the middle of a pandemic, when there's all kind of news out there about Tyson Fury having cheated in the last two fights and very difficult to argue with proof. As in, you can't argue with it at all. Stop lying. When you see the guy's hand sticking through the glove, it's a wrap. There ain't no amount of intellectual nyak that you're going to do to get out of that. However, you can try to distract, which is exactly what Bob Arum is trying to do in this situation. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, we know what we're going through. You guys, if you've not already heard many of the videos, you probably you either have been listening to the videos or you read the title and you leave a bunch of funky comments about people being a conspiracy theorist and what bad people, how terrible I am and how terrible other people are for pointing this out and what sore losers we are. And dog, I see knuckles in the glove. Okay, I see knuckles in a glove. I see the knuckles. Okay, and there ain't nothing you're gonna tell me or any other reasonable person when they see knuckles going through a glove that there's anything other than padding. The only reason you see that is because there's no padding there. So we're in the midst of all this conversation because Tyson Fury got busted. Okay, he cheated bold as day because that's what happens. When you're going for the gusto. You know what I mean? You go for the gusto. You got to be bold. You got to be brave. You got to go out there and give it your all. So Tyson Fury gave it his all, including in the ring. He gave it his all, and cheating with them gloves and every trick in the book he could find to get over on Deontay Wilder, he used. So, like any old crookish type of dude, he surrounds himself with other crooks. One of the crooks that Tyson Fury surrounds himself with is Bob Arum, the promoter for Top Rank Magazine, Top Rank Promotions. This is crazy. Literally, you can just go through everybody in this dude's management team and find where they have either cheated, lied, or stole before. But somehow y'all are acting like these guys, certain people are trying to act like somehow all these guys are pristine virgins that are above reproach, and anybody that could possibly think that they're cheating are out of their mind. Okay, so Bob Arum, and before I call him a crook, let me tell you why I call him that. Because he admitted that he bribed an IBF, the president of the IBF, in order to get his fighters higher rankings so that they could fight for his title. Okay, for the IBF title, which means he bribed and paid an official in order to get some other fighter screwed over and moved out of their ranking and get his fighter moved into the rankings. Okay, Bob Arum admitted doing that. Okay, and that's just what he admitted. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that you've seen him do, like blackball Guillermo Rigondeaux, like clearly. When a WBC orders fights to take place between two fighters like Jose Ramirez and Regis Prograis, he just decides, screw the WBC. We're not doing that. We're keeping your belt. Tell Regis Prograis, go somewhere else, fight for the WBA. Right? All kind of stuff we've seen Bob Arum do. But Bob Arum now is doing a slick move, which is let's try to distract the conversation away from the fact that my guy just got busted with loaded gloves. And now let me be clear when I say loaded gloves, okay? Now, a loaded glove could be when you actually put something in the glove itself. Like you have some hand wraps and you have hardened hand wraps. And as the fight goes on and that top of that glove continues to get compressed, your sweat from your hand keeps making whatever substance you have in those paddings harden, that all of a sudden you start doing major damage like Antonio Margarito. That's a type of loaded glove. Another type of loaded glove is where you load the top with your knuckles. And that is when you can either take padding straight out of the glove, or you can get padding built, or you can get your glove made if you got enough money. I don't know, maybe if you got $30-40 million that you made from a fight, you might be able to just call somebody like, say, Paffin, and say, yeah, hey, I want Paffin, who partners with the WBC. I would like my glove to work to these. I'd like for you to make a glove to these specifications. I would like very little padding right here. I want all of my padding. I want my padding over here by the thumb, and I want my padding over here in the base. So I want an extra thick thumb, and I want something across. I want most of the padding across here to support my wrist or whatever. And then, very little here. And then, down here in the bottom, you can put some there. Okay. But that's how I want it distributed. So you wind up getting a glove that weighs the registered amount, right? When you weigh it in, but there's no knuckle, but your knuckles are completely uncovered, which is what I suspect Tyson Fury did with those Paffin gloves, which is the same thing that Marcos Maidana and Robert Garcia tried to pull on Floyd Mayweather Jr. So those are two ways that you can load gloves. But Bob Arum, who is smarter than your average, is smart dude, smart guy, knows when to shut up and when to talk. So you don't hear Bob Arum talking anything about these gloves or anything about that stuff. You hear what you get Bob Arum doing is Bob Arum says, hey, let's just distract you and talk about the fight that's coming up. And we think it's gonna be in December, and we think it's gonna be in LA, but we're not quite sure if there's gonna be fans to be able to be there. Dog, you know perfectly well there's not gonna be any fans there. In December? Are you kidding me? It's July. It's July. This is the 7th month of the year. It's 5 months away, and there's no vaccine. There's no vaccine. There's no big testing of people on some large scale going on in the United States. Ain't nothing popping off this year. Nothing. As much as we might not like to hear it, nothing is popping off this year. There are people talking about going to school. Like, more than likely, kids aren't even going to go to school this fall. They're going to be back just like all summer. They've been sitting at home all summer. We're going to be at home with our kids up until probably January of next year, if not the whole school year be out, until they can get a vaccine, which epidemiologists say is not going to take place until next year. So we know that this fight is not taking place in December. Now, usually I wouldn't mind it. I love talking boxing and I love chopping it up about fights that may or may not happen. Unfortunately, that is the state of boxing, period. Last year, we spent most of our time talking about fights we know ain't never going to happen, right? Or aren't going to happen anytime soon because we get a thrill off of talking about the matchups and who we think can win. And somebody gets to hate on Terrence Crawford, and then the other guy gets to hate on Errol Spence Jr., and we go back and forth, and we have a good time with those type of conversations that you have, like you would have with your father, just sitting up there chopping it up about who would win between Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali. We love to do all of that type of stuff. But in this particular instant, I'm not willing to live in the hypothetical land because we know it's not taking place. What I would like to understand is, why is there a petition out there where you got 13,000 people who have petitioned the Nevada State Athletic Commission to have Tyson Fury's win overturned? Now that's 13,000 people signed this petition. 13,000. That's not some small amount of people. That's the same amount of people that were in there to watch Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder have signed a petition, was it a change.org petition to get Tyson Fury's belt taken away from him. This is not some small issue, right? You see the knuckles in the glove. This is not some small issue. So no thank you on the sidetracking, no thank you on, trying to mislead and get somebody to think, everything's normal because they're going to be fighting next. So no need to talk about it. Yeah, dude, there absolutely is a need to talk about it. Because what you see is, the mainstream media, the boxing establishment saying nothing about one of the biggest scandals in boxing history. And that is the fact that Tyson Fury got into that ring with no padding in his fucking glove and dented the side of Deontay Wilder's head. And he is not the first person to try to get into the ring and cheat with Deontay Wilder, because multiple people tested positive for PEDs to try to get in there with him. And his motivation to do it is quite obvious. Deontay Wilder could disconnect him from his senses. So he went out of his way to make sure he could neutralize the power by removing the padding from his glove almost completely and taking advantage of Deontay Wilder in that way. And the dude needs to be punished for it, and no more distractions and other crap related to it. Do something about these gloves. Do something about Tyson Fury. And if the fight happens, cool, the fight happens. But truth be told, from what I saw, I don't care if Deontay Wilder does get the third match, because Tyson Fury shouldn't be allowed to fight after what we've seen. And anybody with common sense that isn't tied to that situation knows it. Anyway, it is what it is. That's my take on the situation. You let me know your take. And with that, I'm out. Peace.